Hello and welcome to our March roundup for the housing and lettings market for Cardiff, Wales and the UK. Thank you for joining us. The latest report from the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors Residential Survey for Wales summarises that chartered surveyors in Wales expect house prices and sales to rise. New instructions increase for the third consecutive month. Price momentum remains strong while expectations soften but generally remain upbeat. In more detail, the Welsh housing market has enjoyed a strong start to 2016, and charter surveyors have reported that prices and newly agreed sales both increased a little in January and February, with Welsh surveyors reporting that there has been an unusual strong demand for the winter months. Overall, the RICS expect average house prices in Wales to rise by around 6% in 2016. Commentating on the UK market, RICS chief economist Simon Rubinson said, "Over the past 3 months, we have witnessed a surge in buy-to-let activity. Since the Chancellor made his autumn statement announcement last November, investors have rushed to purchase homes before the stamp duty surcharge came into effect. It is inevitable that over the coming months, April stamp duty changes will take a little heat out of the investor market." While there remains significant doubts as to whether the government's plans to encourage more robust development and construction in the pipeline will be sufficient to address the housing crisis, the long-term price indications for the housing market remain strong, with charter surveyors still expecting them to rise by a further 25% over the next 5 years. Meanwhile, the Nationwide Building Society is warning that the busy start to 2016 in the housing market is driven at least partly by the rush to beat George Osborne's stamp duty surcharge deadline of the 1st of April, meaning that businesses may well fall a little back in the spring and summer. Lenders indicate that the number of mortgages approved for house purchases nationally increased sharply in January to 75,000, up from 71,000 approvals in December and the highest monthly number since early 2014. The Nationwide indicated that this is largely due to the buy-to-let and second home purchases ahead of April 2016, which in their opinion will probably result in a fallback in approvals during the spring and summer. However, the Nationwide believe that despite the likely fallback after April, improving employment prospects and continuing low interest rates should keep the market relatively strong. In Cardiff, we have noted that new buyer inquiries are increasing, and also new instructions to sell are rising as well, which helps satisfy demand and boosts sales activity. That said, supply issues have not gone away, particularly when it comes to 2 or 3 bedroom homes in some areas where demand continues to exceed supply. And as we move into spring, we will perhaps see new instructions rising further, which will help create conditions for ongoing sales growth. According to research from Shelter, UK parents give an average of £23,000 to help their children with a deposit to get onto the property ladder. Highlighting the increasing strain on parents, the same poll also found that a fifth of those helping their children onto the housing ladder had done so using savings set aside for their retirement or subsequent care home costs. However, for the majority of parents already financially squeezed themselves, being able to help their children buy a home just isn't possible. The research shows that 60% of UK parents are unable to save money for their children's future. And unless politicians commit to building more affordable homes, young people and families who can't rely on help from their parents find that a home of their own becomes even more a distant dream. The average age of a first-time buyer has risen to 31, according to the Sunday Times research. Indeed, 52% only get onto the ladder after receiving help from their families. Many of their parents bought their first home when they were in their 20s using 100% mortgages. Grandparents as well as parents are increasingly being asked to help loved ones onto the ladder, with many feeling under moral pressure to do so. The rental market for landlord continues to be strong, with tenant demand still up and exceeding supply. Unsurprisingly, rent expectations point to significant rental growth in the year ahead. Furthermore, chartered surveyors expect rents to rise by approximately 4.5% per annum over the next 5 years. In Cardiff, 2-bedroom properties up to £650 or £700 per month are being let swiftly, with no signs of demand slowing down. With the Chancellor's budget in March of 2016, George Osborne announced a lifetime ISA designed to help first-time buyers and those saving for retirement. Good news for first-time buyers hoping to get onto the housing ladder. If you save up to £4,000 each year, and you will receive a government bonus of 25%, that's a bonus of £1,000 a year. You can use some or all of the money to buy your first home, or keep it until you're 60. Tax-free is up to you. Well worth considering a lifetime ISA, and accounts will be available from April 2017. So if you're thinking of selling or renting, contact our professional teams in sales or rentals for expert free advice without obligation. So until next time, this is Tony Felici, Director of Kelvin Francis Cardiff, saying goodbye.